Good Girl Graveyard Day 2. Are you ready for the Good Girl Graveyard? Today is all about unapologetic. I am trying to just make sure I see the comments. Okay, hey. So, how did it go with day one? What did day one bring up for you? Point out to you, make you confront. Today is all about unapologetic, and this is something I think that gets bandied around a lot about being unapologetic, and actually a lot of people don't really know what that means, or people take that as something to push against. They take it as, oh, I'll say anything and I don't care what people say. And they're actually starting to operate from shadow. So instead of being unapologetic about their true frequency, their true core desires about who they are in the world, what they want to create, the movement that they want to lead, the kind of relationship that they want to have, they actually just start to push back against people. When you're practicing power, but you haven't embodied it yet, you start to do and say things in a way where it's like you're trying to be the rebel. So you start to, maybe you start to dress differently, or you start to puff up your chest a bit. We've all kind of seen that, right? When you're trying on power. But this is a different frequency from that person who is truly unapologetic. And in the context of going to the good girl graveyard, and what that really means to put that good girl to rest, is that you're becoming unapologetic about what you truly want, who you truly are, and what your desires actually are. When you have spent a long time dimming your true power, dimming your true desires, you often lose touch with who you actually are. Often, I'll work with women and they'll say, I don't really know what I want. I know what I don't want, especially in the realm of relationship. For some reason in business, this seems to be something that women are very much easier, it's for them to get a grasp of. They want this kind of money, this kind of business. But then I ask them about their relationship, and I'll ask them what they want, and they'll spend 20 minutes talking to me about what they don't want. I'm like, no, what do you actually want? And this is different from what you think you can have, radically different from what you think you can have. It's what do you actually want? So when you are not fully owning your natural genius, when you're not fully owning your natural gifts, when you're not fully owning your real desires, what you really want, when you're not fully owning your unique self, not the person you perform, not the representative you bring on the day, not the representative you bring forward to try and get clients. When you are detached from that authenticity, you dilute yourself. That's when you start to compete. That's when you start to silently compete with other people. That's when, instead of looking in and going deeper and becoming more of you and building more of you and building your unique frequency and sending the signal, as we talked about yesterday, sending the signal to be the vibrational match to what you truly desire, you start looking sideways. What are they doing? What are they doing? And you start to emulate. Maybe that will get me the relationship that I want. Maybe that will get me the business I want. There was a time on the internet, everything was beige, everything was neutrals, or everything was pink. Everything's got to be pink and cream, pink and cream. Oh, I'll do that, pink and cream. Like, that's what the successful people are doing. And I understand it, right? But if it's not true to you, it's not going to have the required effect that maybe you really desired, because your true frequency becomes diluted. You're not unapologetic. You're going into situations already emulating somebody else. and your power and your potency and your originality and your magnetism, the strongest signal is truth. Truth is the strongest frequency. But if you've been told that you're not enough, you're too much, you're a burden, parts of you are not welcome, then you'll start to dim yourself down. You'll start to water down your message when you're writing content. You'll start to water down your programs because people have told you you're too girly. I was literally looking at sorry, I had to keep clicking something on the Facebook Live. It's annoying. I was reading something by accident before when I was scrolling about a girl who was saying, she was told not to wear bubblegum pink. You look unprofessional. People won't take you seriously. You know, and a lot of us have gone through, if you're in business, a lot of us have gone through that stage of like very serious headshots, like LinkedIn profile type headshots, trying to emulate a corporate environment. Then people will take me seriously. And here's the thing, people do judge you by appearances. To say that people won't judge you by appearances and just turn up with a messy bun and no one's going to say anything is incorrect. People will judge you by appearances. But if your authenticity is the strongest thing, the people who resonate with what you're actually saying and the authenticity that you have will still buy, will still resonate, will still want to be part of your program if it's aligned for them. So some people's whole brand is messy bun, right? Messy mum bun, messy house, or whatever. And they're successful in that because it is very authentic for them. So you really pulling in this 10 out of 10, light you up, living as big as you can, living full spectrum, being in your highest potential, becoming unwithable, remembering who the F you are. It's not about you being pretending, trying on someone else. It's about you being the best you. And sometimes we learn things from other people that help us to be more the better version of us, right? But you're not trying to be someone else. You're trying to be the best version of you. So what you have to look at is which version of you is actually running the show. Is the shadow version of you that says you're not quite enough, you're not acceptable as you are, you're a burden, turn it down, you're too needy, too wanted, too greedy, right? Or not loud enough, not clever enough, not pretty enough. Is that part running the show? Is that part making your decisions? Is that part actually driving your decisions? Because you have a concept that if you're not doing what your coach does, then you're not powerful. If you're not doing what your sister does, because the way that your sister is attractive to people and magnetic, then you're somehow not good enough. Which part of you is running the show? Is it the part of you that is channeling the truth? Is it part of you that is connected to the divine? Is part of you where it is, divinity is having its own experience through you as you? Or are you trying to be someone else and that's why things aren't quite fitting? When you have shamed part of your experience, part of your life, part of maybe some of the experiences that you're going through now, maybe some of the experiences that you've had. Let's use business as an example. Experiences that you've had in your business and you shame yourself for that, you can start to show up differently online. You can start to show up differently in your business. There's a subtle pull back. There's a subtle not really saying what you really want to say. It can be so subtle that you don't even recognize it or realize that you're doing it. But there is an energetic hold back. There's an energetic withhold because you don't want people to know you had a terrible client experience, or you don't want people to know you had an income dip, or you don't want people to know that you launched your mastermind a second time and you only had one person join, and the first time it sold out within minutes, and the second time you ran it, nobody was really interested except for one person. And your results, what happens after that, very much depends on how you act now, the stories you're telling yourself now. Are you telling yourself you've got to, it's embarrassing, you've got to hide, you're not good enough? Or are you just simply looking at solutions? Okay, what needs to change? What needs to shift? What's going on here? Is there something else that's required? Or are you like, oh, panic, 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 nobody can know, nobody can find out, nobody, I can't let anybody discover this, I'm going to have to do something else. Like, that's when you start showing up online and you're losing magnetism. You're not saying what you really want to say. You start getting into proving energy, and it's exactly the same in relationship. When you're starting to prove to your husband that you are lovable and likable, and you're starting to compete with other women, you start to make yourself look desperate. You actually start to make yourself less appealing, because you're giving the signal that I believe I'm not as good as this person. I believe that you think they're better than me, so now I have to prove to you that I'm better. And you don't come across as the confident person. You don't come across as a person who is what? Unapologetic. Self-confidence, self-knowing, and has a standard. Being unapologetic is also about the standards that you hold for yourself. So in relationship work, when I talk about standards and boundaries, a lot of clients in the beginning, they get this really mixed up. Boundaries are a no. Boundaries are a boundary is like, there's something between me and you. There's a space, there's a gap. Standards are a yes. Standards are, this is how I am going to be treated. Standards are, this is how I'm treated, and if you don't adhere to my standards, I'm not interested in the interaction. Standards are, you don't treat me worse than I treat myself. Standards are yes. Standards are, this is what I desire for myself, and if you choose that is something that you don't like to do, you don't want to do, that's fine. It's not like, oh no, this is a boundary. No, this is a standard. This is what I want to receive. This is what I choose to receive. If you don't match that frequency, then no, thank you. So with this space of becoming unapologetic, it's standing for what you stand for. It's having a standard about who you are and what you do and how you do it and how you want to live your life and who you are as you're living your life. Unapologetic isn't walking into a room with your nose in the air looking down on people. If you need to reduce someone in power and say, oh, well, you're only this and I'm that, and you're down there and I'm here, and I'm the prize, I'm the most valuable one, and you're down there, that's because you don't already feel powerful. Only people who feel insecure need to behave like that. You could be in a room with someone who is the richest and most powerful person. This often happens. The most richest and most actual powerful person in the room, and you are completely unaware of who that person is because they're dressed in shorts and t-shirt and scruffy trainers, and they're talking to a couple of friends, and then they go home. It's the person who needs to be seen as powerful, who is desperate to be the most powerful person in the room, that makes the most noise, that is lavishly throwing the champagne around, that needs the attention on them because they don't feel full enough. And when I worked in radio, I would see this with artists. There'd be artists who would come in who already had a name, who were already on the BBC, radio, who were already doing big tours and making big money, and they come in And they'd do the radio show, and they were very pleasant and personable. They'd do the thing that, they'd have a chat, they'd have a laugh, and then they'd go. And then you would have artists who weren't very well known, were trying to make it, maybe were known in their local area by a few people and gassed up by a few people, who were very talented but wanted to be more recognised. They were the ones with the worst attitude. Always. The loudest, need all the attention on me, all this ego, look at me, I'm the best, constantly trying to battle people, I'm better than you. The person who is the best doesn't need to be constantly belittling other people, calling out other people. You see it in the coaching industry. Oh, they're this, they're that, they did this, they did that, they're so terrible because X, Y, and Z. And then at the end it's like, but if you want to do it right, buy my course. Oh, interesting. Okay. So when you're in this level of like unapologetic, you are the power. You're not trying to be power. You're not needing to be seen as the power. People already see you that way. People who know you and know what you do, they already see you that way. You gain respect because you are respectable. You have a level of standard. You have a level of respect. That respect is respect for yourself. You're unapologetic about commanding respect for yourself. You don't demand respect. That's very different. Again, the demand is you need to do this for me because I need to be justified. Going into a restaurant, you see the same thing. Oh, I don't like this fork. Oh, this isn't a good enough table for me. It's all very showy. This artist is so demanding, so demanding. But then there's other people who they command a level of treatment because there's a frequency, there's a level of power that's already in them. People automatically want to serve them the best that they can. People automatically want to create a great experience for them. It's a level of internal power that nobody can take away. This is what I mean when I'm talking about becoming unapologetic and remembering who you are. Remembering who you are before the world brought you down, before you were hurt, before you were told you were too much, not enough, before you were bullied, before you had a heartbreak, before you had a breakdown. Remembering who you were when you were joyful, when you were happy. And if you don't remember that, at the soul level, who you are and who you can be and who you choose to be. Becoming unapologetic is so much about choice, and you get to choose and choose again. So, I was talking about the story is something that's really good for you to journal on. Is what are the stories I tell myself about why I can't have the relationship that I want? What are the stories I tell myself about why I can't have the business or the money that I want? You might have all the money, but the way that business is, you believe it's stuck. You're telling yourself stories about why you can't have it. It'd be good for you to explore that. Maybe I'll put that in the comments later. Let's have a look. Yeah, the life you life you really desire requires you to show up in alignment with that. So, and too often we're in our comfort zone. You are more afraid of the possible rejection from somebody that you don't know on the internet or somebody you don't know on a dating site than you are of actually taking a stand for the kind of business that you want to create. You're more afraid of your husband just saying no, not throwing you over a cliff, but just saying no. You're more afraid of that than actually asking for what you want. You actually are not creating the reality that you want, that you say you want, that you're so passionate about, that you know you really want. The amount of times I've had conversations with clients And I've said to them, have you actually communicated that to your husband? And they're moaning for 10 minutes about what the husband isn't doing, how he doesn't do this, how he doesn't do that. I get it that, you don't always want to be asking every step of the way for every single thing, but it is shocking to me how many women complain about their husbands and then don't ask for what they want. They don't directly ask for what they want, and they get really angry with me when I suggest that they ask for what they want directly, because that would mean that they would have to make themselves uncomfortable. That would mean that they would have to risk rejection, and that partner might say yes and then not do it. That partner might just say no. But how will you ever create change unless you are unapologetic about what you actually desire, the life you actually want to live? You don't even go out and create it. Nothing will change if nothing changes. It's very simple, very easy, but it's incredible how we don't take that very simple concept on board. So many of you don't actually dig down into what you really want. You might have built a business or built a relationship based on that good girl conditioning, based on, I know how to create success, I know how to create money, this is how you do it, boom, 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 boom. You created it all, and now it feels like you're trapped in it. But you get to change. But when you're waiting till you're ready, often you're waiting till somebody else gives you permission. You want high ticket clients, but you're waiting until a high ticket client pays you a high ticket rate until you believe you're worthy of a high ticket client. It doesn't work that way around. You have to be the frequency first. So this conversation that you go first and the universe moves to meet you, that's what it means. You want your husband to be more intimate, to be more loving, and to be more affectionate, but you're closed down. You've energetically got your arms crossed. You're not affectionate with him. You're not loving with him. You've dug your heels in the ground. When he is loving to me, then I'll be loving. When he says something sweet, then I'll be sweet. When he shows me that XYZ, then I will XYZ. And you just spend your life stuck in a holding pattern and fall further and further apart. And of course, always blame the other person, because God forbid you should actually take control. That's why your good girl needs to go to the graveyard. She's costing you years. She will hold you hostage for years in your marriage, in your love life, in your business, in your bank account. She will hold you hostage where she feels comfortable and wants to remain comfortable, even if that comfort is in the discomfort. It's your mind, your ego mind will always go to what's familiar before it will go to what you actually want. The human animal consistently goes to what feels familiar because that's what feels safe, even if it's not what you want, even if it's not your choice, even if it's not your desire, even if you say out loud multiple times a day, I don't want that. I'm trying to move on the right side here. I don't want it. I've worked with clients who said it. Oh, no, 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 I don't want that. But it's what you keep choosing, and you don't choose anything else. So you do the same thing, you get the same result. It's not hard, but it feels hard. It feels almost impossible. But the truth is, it isn't. The truth is, sometimes you have to lean into the discomfort and make a different choice. And that one choice can change your entire trajectory for the rest of your life if you let it. You could be one choice away from living the life of your dreams. You could be one choice away from meeting the partner of your dreams. You could be one choice away from creating the business that lights you up and makes you skip out of bed every morning. But not if you're only going to choose the same thing that makes you feel good and comfortable and familiar. I was having a conversation in Recode for Icons today. Um, what we don't realize is that, as we talked about yesterday, sometimes we hold more power in one area and less power in another, and we don't realize that there's an energetic connection between all of these things. Your soulmate clients are waiting for you to break through in one area because the frequency matches what they are needing to break through in order to hire you. So you're staying in your comfort zone. You're afraid of rejection, afraid of being cancelled, afraid of triggering people. You see people writing things about you or saying things about you or making hints about you, and you pull back because you don't want to upset anyone. You don't want to be a target. You don't want someone to feel even badly about you, and you pull back. And that is a frequency match for the client who needs to get over that barrier, needs to invest in themselves, really needs to have that level of solidity, and then they pull back because it's more familiar doing it the way that they've always done it. So we have this coding in different areas of our lives that when you break through, there's a breakthrough in another area of your life because the energy is connected at the core level. You keep yourself safe and you'd never ask for what you want in your relationship. I can guarantee there are places inside of your business that are stagnant. And the same person I'm talking to you about had already been complaining about how she wasn't calling in the clients that she wanted, how she felt stuck in a business. But she wouldn't have a conversation with her husband, just a clear, not an argument, not a confrontation, just a clear conversation of, actually, this is what I would like. Would you be willing to do that? That's all it takes. This is what I would like. Would you be willing to do that? That is a yes or a no. We can't control other people. But the act of you asking for what you want, it shouldn't be so radical. Yet it is, because you've probably been conditioned that your needs are a burden, that women should put up and shut up. Maybe you've just seen that as a blueprint. No one's ever told it to you directly, but you've picked it up as a blueprint. That it's not safe for you to ask for what you want. People will leave if you don't make yourself smaller. If you don't give and give and give and give and give with no standard for yourself. So owning your desires, truly owning your desires. I talked about this for so many years, and it's actually a very brutally practical way for you to live at your highest potential. What do you really want? Not, and what's really like, not it, not what you think you can have. What do you really want? Who do you really want to be? What kind of life do you really want to experience? What does that involve? Are you just playing it safe? Are you presenting a version of you that you think people want to see? As we're now in the beginning of this age of Aquarius, we're already seeing on a global scale illusions dropping, things being revealed on a governmental level, horrifying things being revealed about different industries in Hollywood, in the music industry, things that some of us knew about, we're aware of, now becoming on a much more global scale. The scales are dropping from people's eyes, horrifying. And the age is about dropping the illusion. The whole astrological influence is what? Truth. Alignment to truth. So, quite likely, if it hasn't happened to you already, you may well be in the middle of it now, or it may be to come, that the places and spaces where something is kind of off kilter, where you've built something and it's not quite aligned, where you're in a kind of relationship and something just needs tweaking or it needs completely rebuilding, those cracks are going to show if you are not on firm foundation. And this is happening all across the board with lots of different things. The foundations need to be solid. That means it's built on authenticity. It's not built from trauma, from a trauma response. You're not operating out of just trying to stay safe and making choices out of trying to stay small and safe and hidden and acceptable. The age of Aquarius demands authenticity, demands realness, and the frequency of truth. It's becoming more and more and more prevalent. The frequency of truth is what is going to cut through in your relationship with the husband that you've got, with the wife that you want to call in, with the intimacy that you want, the conversation that needs to be had, with the business that you want to create, with the people, the legacy that you want to leave, with what you're here to do in the world, with the genius that's supposed to be channeling through you, isn't based on anyone else. It's about deepening in you. So you can use tools, use other people's tools and methods and blah, blah, blah. But it really is about coming home to you. That's what it means to be unapologetic. When you are unapologetic, you're living in a level of truth, not trauma, not trauma responses, not trying to make mummy happy or daddy happy and recreating those loops. That you're operating as an adult, as a mature person, and that's what the world needs more of. People in their power, people in mature power, who can take action, who can make choices, who can create beautiful homes and communities and partnerships and businesses. And you know, some of you already know what it's like to have built something. Like, you've been in a corporate job and been earning a lot of money and hated it and felt trapped and felt like you didn't know where to go next, or you built a business that's made loads of money and it's been super successful and you felt like you didn't know who you were in it. You lost yourself in it. It's easy to do. You know, it's easily done. And you can change it. And you can shift. And you only get one life. And you get to choose again. And it can be scary and it can be exhilarating and it can be wonderful. And it can be a huge change or it can be a small shift. It can be selling up and moving to a different country because all you've ever wanted to do is live by the ocean. It can be choosing to love again, even though you've had your heart broken, because that's what you unapologetically want for your life, however long it takes. It can be that you build a business that you've been dreaming of alongside the other businesses that create great money for you, because it gives you a sense of real soul purpose and it gets you out of bed every day excited to get to work. And it's scary when you're like, I'm receiving a good wage and I'm choosing differently. I've been in a 30-year marriage, and for 20 of those years I've felt like I've lost myself. And you choose to change it. You choose to leave, or you choose to reinvent the relationship that you have. I've worked with people to do that, completely reinvent what they already have. And that is the frequency work. That is the inner shift. The universe is responding. You go first, the universe follows. Is you have that inner shift, the frequency shift, the signal shift. You become unapologetic. This is the standard that I create for myself now. This is the conversation I have with my clients. What is the standard that you choose? What are you choosing for yourself? Because we can play the victim to our circumstances all day long, but we're choosing to participate often over and over and over and over again with the same set of circumstances. What do you choose? And when you have that internal shift, an internal shift in self-worth, an internal shift in safety that comes from within, a self-referenced love for yourself, that changes everything. It changes the way people treat you, changes the way people pay you, changes how you get invited to things. It's changed people's marriages because your internal frequency shifted, your walls have come down. Whether that's meeting someone new or shifting the dynamic of your own relationship, inside of your own business, becoming reborn inside of your business because you're being someone new. You're showing up unapologetic. You're not watering yourself down now anymore. You're not trying to emulate your teacher or coach. You're not operating from like, oh, please choose me. It's like, okay, here I am. This is what I'm doing. This is what I have to offer. But you have to make the frequency shift to stand in that. You have to shift internally and create the identity that matches it. To drop old stories. I've written myself all kinds of notes. You get to change the narrative. I think this is something that is so important and that I've seen in my own life from where I was as, as a teenager in my early 20s with such awful self-image. It's hard for me to actually grasp. It's hard for me to actually explain. It's hard for me to kind of convey the drastic difference of the person that I am now, because I made a shift, because I made that internal change, because I rewrote my own narrative, because I let go of old stories, I alchemized old stories, I allowed myself to change my belief system about who I am and about life, about my interaction with life, whether life is trying to be good to me or trying to hurt me. That internal shift in me changed what showed up around me, allowed me to travel the world alone to so many places, all over the place, had the most incredible experiences, met the most incredible people, the most amazing opportunities. I ended up staying in Hawaii for months, stayed in Thailand for months, found places to live, was given jobs, was done, this level of alignment and openness through believing that life was good for me and having a level of discernment that would also allow me to say, no, no, that doesn't feel safe. No, that doesn't feel good. No, I'm not going over there because I'm not trying to please you and put myself in danger so that you don't feel bad about me. Some of you are registering danger where it doesn't need to be when you are communicating in your business, when you're putting out a new offer, when you're on the edge, like in Recode for Icons now, the work that we've just done, the client summoning work, the business clearing work, clients are coming to the edge of their genius. They're expanding the edges of their genius and it's been calling them. The signs are there. They started doing the work. It's calling them through. And then, now I'm taking them through processes and it's down on paper. Now you can see it, and there's the apprehension. God, what if I look stupid if I put this out? What if people say I'll never pay that? What if nobody buys it? What if nobody's interested? What if it looks crazy? And all of those things can be true. And when you do it anyway, that's when you build up this level of confidence, an unapologetic state of being. Confidence, deep core confidence, is earned. It's not given. It's earned. You earn it through doing the uncomfortable thing. You earn it through holding the tension of, this is what I want. I don't know if I'm going to get it. This is the ask I'm going to make. And I'm very, very nervous and anxious. This is the thing I'm going to put out there. There's no guarantee. This is the woman I'm going to ask out. I don't know how she's going to respond. Confidence is earned, not given. When you stop waiting for someone else to validate and say, no one's going to give you a box of confidence and say, okay, here you are. Take this box of confidence. Now you can do everything. Now you can create the dreams. Now you can create your 10 out of 10 life. Now you're going to have everything you want. Nobody's giving you that. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to save you. It's on you. You do it. You are the person you've been waiting for. You know that saying? You're the one you've been waiting for. This is what it means. In practical application, you put one foot in front of the other. You make the choice. You do the uncomfortable thing. That is how you create a life beyond your wildest dreams. So yes, we do the healing and we do the clearing and we change our belief systems to allow you to believe that it's possible and to stop looping. And then you're still going to have to take action. You're still going to be uncomfortable. It's not going to take away the discomfort of doing something new. Only by doing it numerous times do you build up your own resilience. And that's where a lot of the shadow slaying is. It's in the action, the aligned action, not frantic action, not action from trying to make you like me, not action from performance, not action from please don't reject me. Aligned action. Action that aligns with your desires. Action that aligns with your dreams. But if you're still operating in these shadow frequencies, oh no, I can't say that because then you might not like me. I can't do that because somebody might not buy it. I can't tell this person what I really do because men don't like women who. Women don't like men that. If you were so real about yourself, you might be right. Maybe 80% of people aren't the vibe for you, but the 20% that are, vibe for you hard. They're your people. Like, let your freak flag fly. Not fly. Let your freak flag fly, if I can even say it. That is what brings you your people. You don't need to be friends with everybody on the earth. You don't need to be friends with everybody that was in your classroom or in your workplace. You need to find the people like you, who vibe like you, who think like you. Sometimes some of them don't think like you. They're opposite to you, but they've got the heart that you have. Does that make sense? It's not about just being around people who agree with you. People can't find you if you're not real with who you are and what you're about. Truth is the most powerful frequency. So I'm going to actually take you through a short visualization, a really different kind of visualization. And I want you to, right now, feel into a real desire that you've got. Maybe it's like a relationship that you want, or you want to transform the relationship that you have. Maybe it's about having a particular kind of client. Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's a house that you actually want. Just think about something that you want to create, a real desire of yours, a true desire, not what you think you should have or that you are familiar with or what you really want. And I'm going to I'm going to do this visualization as relationship, but you can put yourself in the position of anything that you want. So if you want to, you want to call in a house, in this visualization, you're going to visualize yourself being the house, and seeing you through the eyes of the house. If you're visualizing a relationship, you're going to see yourself through the eyes of your partner or a potential partner. You will be them. You're not visualizing yourself kissing them or loving them. You're on the other side, because we're going to go into this energy of oneness where you are already connected to all that is. You're a particle of the divine having an experience, and there are other and the other particles of the divine. You're all part of the divine. We're all part of the all, and you're simply calling in the other particles of the divine through people or things. And we're going to play with this frequency of taking yourself out of yourself and manifesting from this unapologetic place of it's already done. If I can conceive it, then I can achieve it. If I can conceive it, then it's already possible. On some dimension, on some timeline, it's already done. It's already possible. We need you to get connected with that, aligned with that. And this is going to be a really interesting way. So close your eyes for me first. And you're going to take a couple of long, slow, deep breaths to just drop yourself so deeply into your body. And the thing that you want to manifest, the desire that you have, you're going to put yourself in the position of that. So for this conversation, I'm going to talk about it from the point of view of a partner. So you're going to see yourself as a partner to you, and you're going to see yourself through their eyes, through the glory, absolute glory that they hold your face. You're holding your face as that person, and you see your beauty. You're looking at your face and seeing your absolute beauty, but also feeling your energy, feeling the energy that you have, and you're in awe of who you are. You're completely in love. Completely in love. You love everything about you. Who you are, who you're not, your cute insecurities. It's cute to you. The things that you're a bit embarrassed of, you think are just funny. You see yourself through the eyes of love completely. You have desire, a deep desire. You kiss your face. Look into your eyes. Notice your mouth. And then you stand back and you see your full profile, you as a partner. Maybe you want to feel into your body as a partner. What does it feel like to be them? Looking at you. You as God as them, you as God as you. The force of the universe running through it all. Look at your hands as a partner. Look at your feet. And see them giving you something. You're giving something to you. and see how you respond to that gift. Notice how you feel watching them, watching yourself respond, you as them. Is there a conversation, something that wants to be said? How do you respond to that? And open your eyes. How does it feel to be unapologetic about what you want? And stop playing good girl. Pretty good, huh? Well, we'll be back together again tomorrow at 3 o'clock for Turned On, which is day 3, which will be fun. If you want to go deeper into my work, which is creating your 10 out of 10 life, really getting clear on what your next steps are, what's real for you, creating a life that's beyond the fears, beyond the playing nice, playing good, actually creating what you want to be, who you want to be, the level of relationship that you want, the level of business that you really want to play in. This is what I do with my clients. If you're seeing lack of trust, then that is what is in you to heal. That is what is in you to heal. Because in this piece, this is you playing God. This is you playing universe. You can have whatever you want. So if you see lack of trust, that's the lack of trust in you that needs to clear. And that's good to know, right? So I've got a few things coming up that are fun to go deeper. One is a one-to-one container called Iconic Intimacy, which is a 3-month container where we really rewire your relationship to intimacy, rewire your relationship to love. I have been doing this work for a long time, worked with lots of different kinds of women on this, and it is outstanding. I also have a container called Shadow Dominatrix coming up very soon, and that is where we profile where shadow is leaking into your life, where you're missing shadow, where you're avoiding looking at how shadow is actually running your decision making, and you start to profile different areas of your life. It creates a huge forward trajectory very quickly. Lots of taking action and taking no prisoners, really dominating your shadow where your shadow has been dominating you and slapping you around, and you're watching other people rise to the top and you're cycling in the same place because your shadow is operating you. You're going to start dominating your shadow. So that's Shadow Dominatrix. And then we also have in September coming, this is also on Early Bird Smut, Sacred Magnetic, Unapologetic and Turned On. This is a sacred, sensual breathwork container where you really reconnect with your unapologetic, sensual self, and you walk in a level of self-trust and self-love and self-honoring and self-pleasuring. And that is everything that's available for now. And I will see you again tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Bye for now.